Hi everyone, welcome again to Minute to Midday. Today we're going to start with the coronavirus again. Man, this coronavirus, man, I thought by now cases would be going down. Unfortunately, it's still going up. The NCDC just reported 91 new cases, and now in Nigeria there are 28 deaths. It's really sad. It's very, I keep wondering like why are the cases keep going up, right? But then again, we've also heard that maybe it's because, we're just starting to test a lot more people. Also, in Nigeria, unfortunately, a lot of people don't even believe it exists. And, that problem is going to continue to cause a burden on the healthcare system. And a country like Nigeria that doesn't even have a very extremely strong healthcare system, it's going to be very sad. But great work so far by the NCDC. They're doing such an amazing job, right? I just want to continue to applaud them. They're doing such an amazing job. And, I think if they continue to do more testings, if people continue to stay indoors and not go out, hopefully we get through this very soon. But no, the cases continue to go up, and let's just really hope that, eventually they start to go down, so that even the lockdown, right? I mean, everyone is bored at home. I personally, right, I'm bored, right? Usually I'm always having a lot of activities going on, but now I'm starting to although the good thing is it allows me to reflect more, right? And I think it would allow you to reflect more. I'm sure I've been talking to a lot of friends who have been saying with this time now, they've been using it to do a lot of things that they have thought about doing in the past, but then didn't obviously get to explore. But now they're actually having time to self-reflect, plan ahead, and more importantly, try and figure out how to re-strategize in the pathways they've been going on. Because a lot of times you find out that people are in just a very monotonous direction, that they haven't actually gotten the opportunity to be a lot more creative, a lot more opportunities to try new things. And hopefully with this lockdown, with this pandemic that's here, something good can come out from a few of us, right? Because to be very honest, it's very sad. And I just want to sympathize with anyone that has lost anyone during this time, whether it's friends, family, loved ones. But, it's just a very sad time. But, let's all work together. Let's all stay strong. People should just try and make sure to be nice to one another, refrain from violence, refrain from anything that could cause havoc in your community. And let's just try and see how together we can do something good here. So, there's a video that's been going online. It's so crazy. It's caused a lot of controversies. It involves a parent and his disciplinary method on his child. More importantly, it's about the education of the child. And basically sparks a lot of conversation around how best do you discipline a child, especially in the African system where, our own sort of method or way we believe to train a child is kind of a little bit different from in the Western world. And it basically was making me think and trying to even talk to a few friends about it to try and understand, right? I mean, we grew up in a certain way where discipline was spare the rod and spoil the child. And, in this new generation, it seems like a lot of people are having a different sort of thought around how best they want to discipline their child. But you know what? Take a look first.
Now look at the kid that you brought.
George.
Huh? You! Do you know what's going to happen to you with stupid 2 or 3 certificates? You're supposed to have one. I told you many times, you didn't want to listen.
George, stop beating them. Come on.
This is stupidity. You can't be saying stop beating them. You know what this means.
I know it does, but why are you beating them?
I told you this is a scar on your entire life. Even if you come and pass your next sitting, you have 2. You know the reputation this stupid thing gives you. Huh? Do you know the reputation it gives you? You're a big boy, you can't read. You can't read.
Oh, George, come on, don't do that.
You can't read. So why the hell do you come back the results like you can't read? 9. You can't do that. Stop talking to me. Understand?
Stop beating him like
You understand? You can't talk to me again about your results. No.
Why? George, come on.
No,
George, come on.
Do not
Come on, you.
to keep you guys there. You. Honestly. How much money I spend photocopying, sending money for books, that tuition fees. Shit! You come with results like you never went to school, you loved the whole year, and then you go and sit for results. That's the result you bring in this house. In this house. Huh? You even have the audacity of refusing when I send you to do on your way. You refuse.
Come on.
Look at the results you brought. You idiot! You're the eldest boy, I've told you many times. You don't listen. Listen here and your looks.
So yes, as you've seen in the video, I found this very troubling to watch. Personally, I just couldn't. I almost could see myself even in the boys' shoes, being sort of whooped basically, based off of how well I did in an exam or not. Now, unfortunately for him, as shown in the results, he actually did really, really bad and didn't even sit for some of the exams. And so I think from a parent's perspective, it was very, very troubling. I can see why and understand why the parent was so angry and infuriated and felt the need to whoop the child. It's very, very sort of sad. And now, the more important thing for me when I saw this video was the mom. I pray to God, no child deserves a mother like that. And I say that because for a mother to see the person she gave birth to being whooped like that, right? And it's one thing to not intervene and stop your husband from beating your child. It's another thing to think that the best thing you can do as a mother is to carry a video camera and be videoing the beating. Now, I can see the pros to that. Maybe she wanted to showcase sort of the type of person that her husband is, and maybe she has problems with him, and obviously maybe there's violence in the home, and maybe she couldn't do anything, and she felt, if she puts this out there, then maybe someone could come to not just her help or her family's help with the violent man that he is, and maybe that's why she put it out there. But I think there are many times in that video that once she has showcased sort of the violence that she wanted to project, she could have definitely intervened, right? I mean, I understand it's easier said than done, and even more importantly, I understand that in many homes where, let's say, there's even domestic violence between the husband and the wife, in a position where it then involves the child, it'd be very, very hard for her to intervene because of the fear of, one, him hitting her, and two, what might happen after she intervenes, right? And then thirdly, which oftentimes mostly happens, especially in the African culture, if a child is not doing well, one thing the husband always does is to blame the mother, right? See your child, right? Say things like, "Oh, see your child. See, he's not doing well, embarrassing us." And the problem, and it's so crazy that when a child shows a negative side, it's always the mother's fault, right? But when the child is doing great, it's the father tends to be praised. And I think it's a very, very sort of sad environment to be in, because I never want to whoop my child like this. I think it's very, very invasive. I think there are different ways to discipline a child. Now, after talking to a few people and even looking at social media, there are different sides to this, right? Now, for him, the man was so upset because he spends $21,000 on the boys' school fees, $21,000. Now that's a lot of money, right? If you convert it to naira, which is a Nigerian currency. It's about what 8 million. So it's very, very expensive, and I can imagine, obviously seeing in the video that's not the only child. So, he probably was also thinking about the amount of work he's done to put into it, and so which is why he got very, very angry and frustrated. But I do think, as a man and as a father, you need to learn how to like hold yourself, self-control. Now, on social media, there were people that were saying, well, for $21,000, yes, he deserves a lot of whooping, basically. There were also those that said, well, because he only passed one subject, which was music. And people were saying that, well, maybe the child has a passion for music, and maybe that's what should be explored instead of the part of, the math or the English where the child basically failed. And so there were people that had that perspective to try and basically say, oh, we need to learn in the African continent to stop thinking everything is all about the traditional sort of method of education, right? Which is, bachelor's, undergrad, bachelor's, master's, and all the rest. But that, we should also think about the way of exploring other sides, whether it's the creative side, whether it's in arts, in music, right? And trying to understand that there are other ways for a child to develop, and other ways for an individual to succeed and excel in life, beyond sort of the traditional method of education. But I think it's a very, very bad. But to be very honest, this actually is very common in a lot of African homes. So it's so funny when I was going through social media and I was seeing the reactions, and I was seeing that a lot of basically Africans were against it. But from talking to a few friends, this is very, very common. Like, this is very, very common where this has happened. I was talking to a friend about this as well, and the friend was saying, yes, when it happened to the person, right, the dad basically embarrassed him so much that he had to like go around the estate and stuff, right? Another one said that, oh, the dad made her put her textbooks on her head, right, and then walk around the estate, right? So it's so funny to see different stories on how this was done. And I was trying to remember, like, even for me, right, to try and understand, right, when I did bad at some point, how bad did it get? I think when I was trying to remember, I couldn't really think about anyone that. You know what? First of all, my memory just fades off very quickly. But I couldn't really remember that was sort of harsh per se, right? There were a lot of punishments, definitely. There were a lot of disciplinary conversations. There were a lot of shouting, right? But I couldn't really think about anyone that was repeated. And most importantly, if mine ever got this bad, I definitely would hope that my mother wouldn't do exactly what this mother did here in this situation. So to all new parents, please just try and figure out better ways to discipline your child. I know people also say that, well, I mean, if they basically beat us this way and we came out this well, right, then who's to say this is a wrong way to discipline your child, right? And that's also another fair point. But to be fair, there's a lot of things that we still don't know are as a result about ourselves, that are as a result of the way we were disciplined, right, from a perspective of fear, right? And there's a lot of studies that you also see that come out that say that, a lot of Africans that have gone through a lot of sort of oppression, whether internal or external oppression, whether it's from their parents, right, or from the society they lived in, when they often get older, when they're amongst their peers that grew up in the Western world, they are often a little bit shyer. They're not outspoken. They don't voice their opinions a lot more, simply because they were sort of trained to not do that, right? And from an outspoken perspective, their peers in the Western world tend to look more sort of mature, more confident, and things like that. And so those are areas that I think we also need to look into more and see how valuable it is for a child to grow up with confidence, pride and be able to like raise his head up to speak among people as well. So as you can imagine, this went viral, and the dad eventually, got to see it. It eventually even got to the police, and there was a conversation around, oh, he's been calling for questioning. And the dad basically put out a statement. Basically, in his statement, summary of it was that, look, he has every right to discipline his child the way he sees best, right? And that's another conversation, right? For that involves really engaging a lot more people to really understand, right? So, yes, you give birth to this child, you raise the child, but then how much sort of control or not control can a parent have on a child regarding how he disciplines him or her? And I think it's definitely a conversation worth having. I think it's very useful in the society. I also think that there are people that have different sort of perspectives on this. And I don't honestly believe there's a wrong or right answer. I strongly believe there is no wrong or right answer at all. I think, you would find folks that would defend their fact that say they know better than what society is about to say. But I mean, I've been at an event where I'd had some celebrities say, look, they're not about to have some type of conversation with their parent, with their child, that they would leave society to raise the child. And most importantly, especially when it comes to sort of the hard to talk conversation. So for example, like sex education. So I was at an event where I think it was Omotola, the actress, that had said, I think it was around sex education and talking about how we need to parents need to have more information, more conversations with their kids regarding sex education, because it would help in reducing adolescent pregnancy. It would help in reducing parents, youths that have sex and give birth when they're not prepared. It would also reduce sort of the abortion rates that have come out of wedlock and different conversations like that. And so basically they were trying to say that a lot of it stemmed from the fact that a lot of these youths had not had sort of conversations with their parents when they were younger. And so that's why it happened. But even she came out to say, look, she's not comfortable having such conversation with her kids, right? So despite the fact that there might be all these different theories around the pros and cons to that, she believes that her own children, it's best for society to sort of educate them on what to do and what not to do, right? And that sounded scary, and everyone at TV was like, right? But one thing I really applauded her for was her openness and her honesty. And she has kids, so she's not even talking from a hypothetical situation. She's talking realistically. She's not having these conversations with her parents, with her kids, and she's defended it for whatever reason. But also believes that she probably believes that the kids will benefit more when maybe their life experiences educates them. So everyone, let's just all stay safe, stay home. Please remember to subscribe. Also like it if you actually do like it. If you don't like it, it's fine, but please ensure you subscribe.